today. What's going on, everybody? Here we are, MLB live before lock, early slate. Early slate, depending on which site you play on, bigger than the main slate today. You don't see that all that often, but FanDuel is just a 3-gamer tonight on the main. DK smart enough to put the 6 o'clock game in there. But we got a 4-gamer this morning. They're leaving off the 12:30 start today, so they're all over the place on this Thursday. It is Thursday,
yeah.
Right?
I mean, we had 2 games postponed before the day even. I mean, they were postponed yesterday.
Yeah, it feels weird after coming from basketball for so long, where you feel like you don't get any news about anything until it's too late.
Yeah,
and then baseball's like, oh, we're just not going to play these tomorrow. You're like, oh, thanks,
right.
baseball.
Right. We'll figure one of the other 180 days to make it work.
Yeah,
it's been beautiful around here lately, man, and it's been just started to get nicer around my way.
Yeah, it
Why
is.
Isn't it nicer everywhere?
I want to gloat a little bit because I think, it's 67 and crystal clear outside right now for me. So
nice. About around me, it's 88, sunny with a brisk wind.
Is it really 88?
No, it's like 60 or something.
Oh,
I wouldn't want it to be 88. Dude, my favorite weather is give me like 60 to 65 degrees with a you don't want like real wind, right?
Light
you just
breeze.
Want a breeze, a light breeze. Yes. A light breeze and some sun. You can't beat that.
Jeans and a t-shirt or shorts and a hoodie weather, man.
Shorts and a hoodie. Shorts and a hoodie weather down at the shore. Can't beat it.
Now
man.
we're talking.
Cannot beat it.
Very similar life experiences growing up, clearly.
Yeah, well, we clearly lived in the same state too.
Yeah. The second that you have the ability to just be like, to wear half of whatever you were just wearing is so great.
Sometimes it's like a third or a quarter of what you were wearing. I'll be rocking the thermals with the pants over the thermals, Yeah.
You get like, you spend so much. Winter in Pennsylvania is just miserable. Like,
oh yeah. Dude, I've got a collection of thermals for the winter, and I rock them almost every day. It's comfortable. It's a beautiful thing. But now they're put away. They're put away for the year, and that's a better feeling. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah, just wait till
people
you get
living in California
in a week and a half.
People living in these, these warm weather, no season states. They don't get it, man. I don't blame them. I mean, but even you get some seasons where you live.
Yeah, it's cold here for like a week or two.
Nah, a little long. Dude, we talked this year, and I swear it was in the 40s for a good while there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like late December, January, beginning of February. In the morning, when you wake up, it's like 10.
I
don't go out of the house. I just wait till it gets warm.
Right. What's the point?
Yeah, I'll take 2 vitamin D pills and call it a day. Who needs sunlight when you can just take it in pill form?
Oh, man.
How you feeling about this early slate?
Not bad. I thought you asked me an interesting question before we started the show. Just basically what our thoughts are, or what my thoughts are on rostering a pitcher or a hitter against one of your pitchers when you have a small slate like this. Especially when you're looking at you got Paxton, Strasburg, Syndergaard at the top. I mean, even Eduardo Rodriguez is a pretty strong pitcher. There aren't a ton of pitchers to really feel good about picking on. We can get to Spencer Turnbull, who actually doesn't seem to be that half bad when it comes to his stuff. And then there's Alex Cobb.
Yeah, there's Alex Cobb. It's weird. It's so weird because of how little I've been paying attention to DraftKings. When I see Alex Cobb's name, it's just like, oh, well, I'm not playing that guy. Yeah. But on DraftKings, it's not as simple as that. I mean, it probably is, but
the whole team's injured.
Yeah.
Sorry, the whole Yankees team.
Right. Yeah. But we still got Judge. See, the weird thing about Cobb is that, like on FanDuel, I can't really justify it. There are too many other good high ceiling pitchers to want to play Cobb because the Yankees are chalky. The chances of Cobb outscoring all of Paxton, Syndergaard, and Strasburg are basically 0. And the chances of him even being close to the highest score there are really, really low.
So
And
what are the chances then that forget about outscoring him because that's obvious. What do you see the chances that paying down for him is worthwhile because of the hitters outscoring overall, outproducing whatever hitters lineup you would have had with a Paxton and Strasburg lineup?
I just don't see the need to spend less money. And again, I'm speaking from a FanDuel perspective. Playing Cobb as an SP2 in this scenario is a completely different conversation. I don't really know what paying down gets you, because if you're paying down
Oh,
there,
you're talking FanDuel?
yeah, on DraftKings,
Okay.
I'll pretty
Okay.
much, you can talk me into any SP2 for the most
On
part.
DraftKings, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
On FanDuel, I see it as completely impossible to recommend. If you're just trying to get on the opposite side of Yankees chalk bats, just simply don't play the Yankees.
Right.
Because the Yankees can be a bad stack and let down people as chalk, and that doesn't mean that Alex Cobb even has to be mildly decent.
Right.
If there
And by
were
the way,
not three other like high-end aces in Paxton, Syndergaard, and Strasburg on the slate, it could be a different scenario. But like, I have all three of those guys projected for 10 plus points or more than Cobb. You're
right.
just not closing that gap effectively.
No, I agree. And by the way, when I say their whole team is that their whole team is injured, obviously being hyperbolic, but you are still down Aaron Hicks. You're still down Giancarlo Stanton. Didi Gregorius is I'm not sure when he's going to be back. Troy Tulowitzki, that might be addition by subtraction, but he's out. Miguel Andujar is out. Like, dude, they're down a lot. And the fortunate thing for a team like the Yankees is that Luke Voigt's still got some pop. You can do worse than that. Greg Bird batting fifth now. LeMahieu is supposed to be your super utility guy, but he's been He's been a starter for how long now? Gleyber Torres, and you got guys like Clint Frazier and Tyler Wade. But you look at that lineup, and it's still better than a lot of lineups in Major League Baseball with all of the injuries.
I mean, only Wade sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
The whole lineup's like it's loaded for most teams.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, imagine what it looks like when you have Stanton and Hicks and Andujar and Gregorius. It's going to be pretty nasty.
Apparently, the Yankees are super deep.
Right?
Like, Gardner has a 96 weighted runs created plus in Steamer. LeMahieu 98. Everybody else is above 100.
Yeah, I know.
Like, not a lot of easy outs. I mean, there's some strikeouts to be found here, but I'll take the 4.7 run implied total as well. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't need to be over the field on the Yankees or anything like that. I get the merit of fading the bats, but at least on FanDuel, I don't need to go to Cobb. I can't imagine I would get to too much Cobb on DraftKings either. I would probably prefer... Like, I'd probably be more likely to go to Spencer Turnbull than Cobb.
Yeah, Turnbull was the guy I mentioned just a minute ago. I don't think that's a crazy idea. I guess what it comes down to, Turnbull does have some decent strikeout stuff, but I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure when it's going to surface at the major league level, or if it will. So that's a concern. As far as the Kansas City Royals go, I think this team is fine. They have a few decent bats, at the top and middle of their lineup. A lot, by the way, depending on how Soler continues to hit, and if he continues to hit as well as he has, well, then it's going to be a different story. This lineup's going to be pretty imposing. But he has come back down to earth over the past couple games. It's not a big surprise either. So yeah, I think you could look to Turnbull here. What is the implied total here for?
I've got 4 flat, but I haven't put an update in since we started the show, so
it
might have wiggled a little bit.
I got 3.8. So
then it's wiggled more than a little bit. Let me check it out. Let me make my updates.
Yeah, I mean, maybe mine has an update, but I'm just looking at it now. I see 3.8 on Turnbull, 3.8 on Junus, And then, of course, 3-1 on Paxton and Syndergaard, 3-5 on Strasburg, 4-3 on Anderson and Rodriguez, and then a 4-6 on Cobb.
Yeah, I'm grabbing them now. I can see, some of the lines have moved a little bit, maybe 10 cents in either way, which is pretty sizable. Paxton a bigger favorite than I thought he was earlier, so that's only making me like him even more. And the Royals-Tigers line has dropped a half run since I started doing this, so lots of little wiggles.
Yeah, let me check on the weather there. 44 degrees, so that's got to be, look, 44 degrees, not great hitting weather.
No,
not
so
great
much.
hitting weather at all.
Not
you
so
got
much.
No serious winds, but that's great. Actually, I'm sorry, 41 degrees. 41 degrees, Josh. At the start of this game. That's cold.
Chilly. Yeah, these lines have changed quite a bit now. So really makes me really interested to run a new crunch. God, I love baseball. I love the math behind it all.
Yeah.
If only they could improve the product, turn it into like 7-on-7 with shorter fences or something. Really, really modernize this game into all the fun parts. They'll never do it. That's the worst part.
Look, it is a great sport. It's also probably the most frustrating one, though, just because of how often you're going to fail.
What's really weird is that all the other sports just prep me for that.
Just what?
Being bad at every other sport just makes it way easier to play baseball than you're already there. Now, it takes a lot for people to get used to like putting a lineup together and getting 8 bagels because you go 0 for 36, which is like feasible. It's real bad and an outlier, but I mean, there are days I can picture days where it's just like I think I got 2 hits and a full lineup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Game over.
Can we talk about the Astros for a second? I mean, I loved Tyler White last night, so at least I could look at him and say, "Thanks, pal. You didn't destroy me." But I mean, that Astros team again, just putrid, and the Boston Red Sox. Yes, they ended up coming through in the end. They scored 6 runs late in that, 3 in the 9, but through the first 4 innings, Estrada was sporting a no-hitter, right? I mean, not that that's a huge deal, meaning that you have 5 more innings to go, but dude, the Astros got blanked by Mike Minor, and I think Adam and I said it. Minor's not a bad pitcher, like he's average, but this Astros team's going out there and they are just getting shut down each and every time. From if it's not Springer, it's Altuve. If it's not Bregman, it's Correa. If it's not Altuve, it's Gurriel. Dude, they're not putting up any runs. I think, what are they right now? They're 2-5 to start the season, and it's not like pitching has been terrible.
I'm pulling up the standings now on FanGraphs. Been outscored by 7 runs, 2.14 runs per game, 3.14 allowed. See, are they behind their base runs? That's what I want to know. So, yeah, they've been a little unlucky. The base run says they should have a run differential of 4. And they've actually been -7. So they're basically missing a win. A little bit hit unlucky. But even still, base runs per game, 3.5 is not at all what you're trying to get out of the Astros.
It's crazy, right?
Either way, they've been bad.
And again, we're not looking at this and saying, "Yep, don't play them anymore."
Nope. That will never be a statement in baseball.
Right, of course not. Of course not. But there's no question that it'll frustrate you early in the season. Like even me, I understand that like these things are going to happen, but it still pisses me off when you know how good a team is and how good a spot they're in, and consecutively, or I should say consistently, just dump all over you.
Yeah. It's so demoralizing, and it's going to happen every single day for, not with the Astros, but just in general, every single day until September. Like that's just how baseball works. You are going to pick things, and more often than not, it's the wrong decision.
Yep.
Through no fault of your own, potentially. Baseball just lets you get bludgeoned. It really has you. That's why everybody looks forward to basketball so much when baseball is over. You're just like, can't take any more. Like, I can't take any more beatings. I just want to roster LeBron James and assume that I get 60 and just like brush my hands and walk away.
Yeah.
LeBron might not be the best example in that one, but you know what I mean.
No, I mean, I know exactly what you mean. And they're two totally different animals is what it is. It's just entirely one of them. In one of those sports, almost all of the guys that you're playing have an equal opportunity to produce. Many of them are better at it, but you're looking at 4, maybe 5 plate appearances, not including guys that get pinch hit for, right?
Right.
And we're not trying to predict how many at bats their plate appearances they're going to see outside of the obvious. What does the math say you'd get if you moved from the 5 to the 1 hole?
Right.
Yeah. With basketball, you're predicting not only their minutes, but what they're going to do with those minutes. So minutes are not equal in baseball. 35 minutes from Giannis is a lot different than 35 from Luke Kennard. And, Giannis controls his own destiny to a large extent, right? Like he has the ball. It's the usage. It's up to him to get to the basket, to get it done. So they're totally different, man. Like there's nothing even comparable.
No.
I think baseball is the most similar probably to hockey.
Yeah.
You're stacking lines. The goalie is, similar to the pitcher where you kind of really need him to do well. Granted, maybe I'm wrong. I don't play a lot of DFS hockey, but I've always seen some similarities there.
No, you're absolutely right. They are very clearly the most comparable just due to the roster construction. So you and I have done a nice little rant to start. It is what we do when you and I are on a show.
Well, we also had an hour to talk about 4 baseball games. Yep. As you saw in the deeper dive yesterday, baseball goes a lot faster than basketball.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to me about what you're liking on the DK side, because it's easy for me to hit on FanDuel. How are you hashing out the 3 big names at the top of the pitching heap? Paxton, Strasburg, Syndergaard. What's your lean?
I'm a huge fan of James Paxton. Like I just love the guy. I truly believe that when healthy, he can compete for a Cy Young, and not just like finish 8th. I mean, actually compete. I do believe he's that solid.
I mean, he has crazy good stuff.
Dude, crazy good. Like crazy good stuff. I'll just give you a quick example. He sits on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. It was down a little bit in this first start, but not concerning whatsoever. Like to me, not even a bit. It was down like less from 96 last year to 95 and a quarter or so. Nothing, 95.2.
Yeah.
Not worried about that. I think he'll get back up to 96 and we'll all be happy. And then when you look at his pitch mix, I remember tweeting this last year. James Paxton in the it was either his what was it, 16 strikeout game or the no-hitter that came directly after it. Basically threw 80% fastballs, about 10% cutter, and 10% curve.
That banger curve.
Yeah. And the reason he can get away with it is because his fastball, he can climb the ladder with it and have you swing at something that you think is in the strike zone and it just rose 15 feet above your head. He can put it down around your knees. He can paint the corners with it. And the curveball, he can drop it in for strikes, or he can bury it in the dirt and have you swing out of your shoes.
Yeah.
And another thing, the reason I love him and the reason I think that he can compete against anybody is because have you seen what that cutter does? I mean, that cutter is, depending on what your hand in this is, can run in on you, run away from you. I know he throws a ton of that 4-seamer, but it's an elite pitch.
As he should.
Yeah, right. And his secondary offerings are definitely good enough. I just love James Paxton, and I think right now he's my guy.
Yeah, between that pitch mix and the separation in speeds, so that fastball's coming in.
Oh, it's huge.
95%. The cutter is at like 88, and then the curveball comes in at like 81. Those are three very, very distinct drops. With if you're getting a similar release point, makes it almost impossible to figure out what's coming at you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Scary.
I mean,
because if you're sitting fastball and that's a cutter and you're out in front of it, and he's just making you look so silly because then it's coming in
Yep.
on your hands, and then you're like, okay, maybe I'll look the cutter, and he throws this hook, and you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna go sit down.
Right. And then not only that though, the placement with these pitches, even if you get the pitch right, he throws them in so many different locations.
So I take it that Paxton's your number one.
He is. Yeah, against Baltimore. And one thing about Baltimore is, we say Houston, God, they've been terrible. They'll turn it around. Boston had a few really ugly games there. Expect them to turn it around. Baltimore, I expect them to turn it around in the opposite direction. This lineup is really not imposing. Let me read you from the 9 hole up, okay?
Okay.
Richie Martin, Jesus Sucre, Chris Davis, Joey Ricard, Rio Ruiz, Renato Nunez, Trey Mancini, Dwight Smith Jr., and Jonathan Villar. I'd say at least 7 of those guys would not be in any other major league lineup outside of maybe the Giants, and there's got to be another, or the Miami Marlins.
You mean to tell me there's not a big line of teams trying to get Chris Davis?
Yeah, no. Last I heard, the market was pretty quiet on Chris Davis. Richie Martin, however,
I don't think that a single team would take Chris Davis if they knew that the Orioles were going to pick up the entirety of his contract.
I mean,
I think he's only in the majors at this point because they're obligated to pay him. So
Yep.
It's just like, well, whatever.
And because what else are they? Right. What else? Like, sure, you could bring someone up, but you don't. If they had somebody that they could bring up right now that they thought was ready, at his position or to DH, sure, but they don't need to.
No.
To me, it's Paxton, and you might say, oh well, it's a bad park. Yeah, look, Paxton definitely Paxton was definitely protected by Safeco Field at times, but he's going to have to pitch at Yankee Stadium all year long. It's not exactly like Camden Yards is all that much different. He's good enough to where that's not going to bother me. And it's not summer yet. It's 65 degrees there, 67 degrees. Like, yeah, it's good hitter weather. It's good. It's a good hitter's park. But I just think Paxton is too good for that to bother me. I haven't projected a lot higher than anyone else, honestly.
What do you have him projected for?
26 fantasy points.
You certainly do.
What's that?
You certainly do.
Yeah.
I've got him at 21.4.
21.
Yeah. But that is also the highest by 2.5 fantasy points. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just his K per 9 numbers, his K rate is insane.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty clearly my top option on both sites. I have no qualms with him whatsoever.
Okay. Now, what about Strasburg and Syndergaard for you?
So similar story on both sites. I have Syndergaard just like a hair ahead of Strasburg. I have Paxton on his own tier. Syndergaard and Strasburg are pretty close to each other on the next tier. Syndergaard getting a little bit more ownership. It all looks exactly how my information comes out. So I'm actually going to end up being light on Syndergaard because he is the chalk on FanDuel. I'm trying to get as much Paxton as I can as of right now. So that's how I would separate those guys. If I was playing on DraftKings, it would be primarily Paxton and then maybe slightly more Syndergaard than Strasburg.
All right. I'm with you. It's just, Paxton I have ahead of them by a lot. So,
okay.
Look, with Strasburg and Syndergaard, I guess I'll just break it down real quick. Noah Syndergaard, I obviously think is a good pitcher. He's a very good pitcher. He's got good stuff. We all know that. What I find so strange about Syndergaard, I think if anybody that watched the NBA deep dive this year knows that I Adam as well. We kind of see him as like the Kawhi Leonard from a pricing standpoint.
Sure.
When he falls below a certain price, he's very worthwhile, but he stays expensive for so long that you kind of can't. So when Kawhi falls below 9K, you know, and with Syndergaard, I feel the same way. We all know that he has really good stuff, but is he right now? Should he be priced there, especially in this matchup? I don't think so, Josh. So that's why I have trouble with it.
Ooh, okay. You're not a big fan of the 40% Syndergaard ownership?
No, I think okay. So no, yeah, right. No, no Trey Turner is actually huge. Point that out right now. No Trey Turner for a guy like Syndergaard is huge.
Yeah.
So I really like that a lot. So let's do this. Let's have this conversation.
Sure.
If you're playing Strasburg and Syndergaard, or sorry, Paxton and Syndergaard together on DraftKings, can you construct something that you feel good about?
I doubt it. I can't imagine that you could.
So most of your Yankee bats are super expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends, like, how much do you like the Mets hitters?
Right.
Like, you almost have to include some Mets. They're the cheapest guys going on DraftKings. You're going to have a hard time getting to the Yanks and the Red Sox, I would guess.
Right. So it's kind of the only thing with Syndergaard is if I'm not playing him with Paxton, I like Paxton more than him.
Okay.
Right. It's not that I don't like Syndergaard. I really think no Trey Turner is huge for him. I can't stress that enough.
Agreed.
You know, maybe the best base stealer in the league being out of the lineup against a guy that hemorrhages stolen bases.
He is
big.
not great at that.
Yeah, it's big. And also the fact that Syndergaard is the highest projected owned pitcher on DraftKings, that also, and FanDuel, that also has me thinking, okay, I do like, of course I'll go to Paxton over Syndergaard, knowing that from a ceiling standpoint, I mean, I think Paxton's ceiling is definitely higher than Syndergaard's. I really do.
I agree. By like a lot.
By a lot.
Like,
yeah,
by a lot.
It's a crazy thought, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, the matchup certainly helps.
Yeah.
Getting a date with the Orioles is like never a problem.
No, but in general, Paxton.
Yeah, if they were both facing the Orioles and they were both the same price, I would greatly prefer Paxton.
Yeah. What about on FanDuel where Paxton's 10-6 and Syndergaard is 10,000? Because for me, yeah, it's a 10,000 or it's a $600 difference, but you still have Syndergaard projected at 10% higher ownership than Paxton. Is it huge? No, but that's crazy high ownership. I really thought it would be Paxton. Maybe people are worried about the park.
Yeah, it blows my mind. I'm super happy that ownership came out the way that it did.
Right?
It's making me feel great. So I have absolutely no issue whatsoever with having more Paxton than Syndergaard.
Maybe people are looking at his first start and they're seeing that he wasn't that great. Well, a couple things. First of all, he had one unearned run. Or no, he had one earned run. He went 5 2/3 innings, but only threw 82 pitches. Right? So he was averaging it's not like he was laboring through that start. He threw 82 pitches through 5 2/3. Nothing crazy. Only gave up 5 base runners. Paxton's this is against the same Baltimore team, except it was at Yankee Stadium. I think he has a longer leash here, and basically at a very comparable price to Syndergaard. What is there not to like, really?
Totally agree. So we've talked a lot about these top 3 guys now. They are very clearly difficult to fit in as a 2-man combo on DK. How are you paying down?
So how am I paying down a pitcher on DraftKings, you said?
Yes.
Well, that's where it gets interesting, huh?
Yeah. Do you ride hard for Brett Anderson by any chance?
No.
Nor should you.
Do you?
No, not at all. He's the worst pitcher on the slate.
I think we could get there in a second. We probably don't need to, but Turnbull is at least somebody that has a swinging strike rate right around 10%. Last season it was what 9.5%. This year at their first start, it's 10%. That's okay. I'm all right with that. Expected WOBA last year against righties was 252. Against lefties, his actual WOBA was 287, but his ex WOBA was significantly higher. That's interesting, but I guess it makes sense. You've got a right-handed pitcher. So looking at the lineup that we're going to get against Turnbull, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 righties. Your lefties are now O'Hearn to me is, I love the GOAT O'Hearn. But aside from him, Billy Hamilton, okay, not worried about that.
No, not so much.
And then you got Mondesi, sure, pretty solid. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of regression from last year. And then Alex Gordon and Lucas Duda. So yeah, they've got some lefties, but maybe 1 or 2 of them are guys that you're really worried about. And obviously Whit Merrifield's very solid, and Jorge Soler's been good. But Turnbull I will say, pretty limited work last season. What did he have? What did he throw? It wasn't a lot, right?
No, but very minimal.
Like 16 innings.
Yeah.
16
In
innings.
the majors, yeah, it was next to nothing.
Yeah, 16 innings. Had a K rate like slightly above league average, though. Swinging strike rate. I think he projects to have pretty much a league average K rate, K per 9, which on a slate like this you can live with.
Yeah, he grades out really well for me. Oddly enough, I'm actually gonna have
I
would have quite a bit of him as my SP2 on DraftKings.
What is it you like about him?
Let me hop to it quick. So Steamer has him in 7 Ks per 9, 3.5 walks, 467 FIP. It's generic for sure. It's not as if anything is jumping out and saying like, oh, this guy's going to be fantastic down the line. He's basically a nothing. He's 26 or something stupid. Like he's not. He's just a guy.
Right.
But he's got a date with the Royals. 25% K rate to Mondesi, 24 to Gordon, 28 to Soler, 27 to O'Hearn, 27 to Duda. This is all Steamer projected. There's potential for a bunch of additional Ks just because the Royals aren't great. And when your alternatives on the slate are Brett Anderson, who I'm not sure has better stuff than me at this point, or Alex Cobb against the Yankees, Turnbull sort of just wins by default.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So on a different day, I would be shocked if I advocated for him, but he seems to just sort of be the least problematic.
Right. Look, I'm with you. That's really what it comes down to. You're not going to get anything. You're not going to hear me talking about how excited I am about him. That's certainly not the case. But you're not going to hear me talk about how excited I am about any of these other guys.
Sure.
So it's kind of by default type deal.
Right. It's Cobb, it's Anderson, it's Turnbull. Those are the true pay down options. I assume you don't have any issues with Eduardo Rodriguez or even Jake Junus. It's just they're kind of in like the middle of it all.
Yeah. Okay, so Eduardo Rodriguez, the price point's really not bad, and Eduardo Rodriguez is a solid pitcher. Also, for most of his career, he's been a reverse splits guy too. And I don't think the price tag is out of control, right? No. It's not like Eduardo Rodriguez is 9K here, 8,500 DraftKings. He's not. But last year he held lefties to a 304 WOBA, righties to a 296 WOBA. Pretty solid, right? Home run rate was pretty league average, 1.1 home runs per 9, nothing crazy. But he struck lefties out, and this should surprise nobody, at a much higher rate than righties. 2017, I just want to go back to this here. 2017 was better against righties again. struck lefties and righties out around 25, 26%. I do think he's fine, but I have a decent amount of respect for this Oakland lineup just in terms of their way to kind of grind pitchers down. You've got a 9 righty lineup today. Now that you bring it up, maybe we should talk a little bit more about Eduardo Rodriguez.
By the way, we just got the A's lineup.
I know that's why
and
I
it's
just
not
said
whatever
that.
was in. Robbie Grossman is leading off.
Right, Grossman leading off. Laureano was good to me last year, man. But you have him down there, Fegley down there.
And if Grossman is leading off, that's gross, man.
Oh, yes. Very solid. Not solid at all.
Sometimes I can't help myself.
It's okay. That's okay. At least,
it's so bad. It's just so bad.
At least you're aware of it.
I live for it.
Yeah.
I really do. It makes me so unhappy with myself. Because I know if I were listening to this and not like the provider of it all, I'd be like, God, this guy blows.
I feel like the 4.3 run implied total is a little bit surprising to me. It's the second highest on the slate for Oakland.
I'm very surprised by that total.
Right? At O.co?
Yeah.
Maybe there's something I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't even know what that could be. Like I couldn't figure it out. It surprises me that that's there. Like that's a lot. That's the most runs. I mean, we were regularly not getting one of those numbers over 4. I'm surprised that the Red Sox number isn't higher.
Yeah.
Don't these dudes just bludgeon Brett Anderson today? What are we missing?
Well, I'm surprised that the Red Sox isn't higher and that the Oakland A's isn't lower.
Yeah. Yeah, I cannot believe this is as close as it is. Is this leading us to something to find out that like Mookie Betts and JD aren't in the lineup today or something?
Right, I don't know. There's no team is even favored in this game.
No.
It's pretty much even. I don't know, man. I find it strange. I really do. Vegas isn't something that that you lean on heavily. I think it's a good guide. It's a good place where you're looking early on. You want to see what you've got going on. It's a good way to get a first look, kind of a foundational look. Yeah. But you're not using it for everything. Although I will say, to me, it is strange that I see this. It makes me at least want to dive deeper into all of this. With Anderson, man,
he's so bad. It makes me want to bet on the Red Sox, right?
I don't. Well, see, to me, I feel differently because I can't help but think if there's something I don't know.
You think they're tricking you somehow?
Not tricking me, just that like I'm behind on something.
I'll say this: if I were on vacation in Las Vegas right now, I would just be betting on the Red Sox. Like, oh, that seems like what I should do. I'm gonna go get a drink ticket and I'm gonna go to the buffet.
That's what's been so weird about it. I mean, yeah, I don't care if it's in Oakland, if it's at not a great park. 4.3 against Brett Anderson. I mentioned this to Adam the other day. It must have something to do with their bullpen strength because they should have on paper one of the best bullpens in the game.
That's a really good point. And it's really hard to like project for that sort of stuff early in the season with how variable performance is from relievers. We clearly expect their bullpen to be good. It was fantastic last year. Having a great bullpen the year before, even if those guys are the same, we know how much variance there is in a 50 inning sample of 5 separate guys.
For sure.
Maybe I don't even know what to take out of it. But I'm with you. Like I would have expected them to have one of the better bullpens again this year.
Right. Hey, by the way, let me quickly, because we have 10 minutes, 11 minutes.
Yeah, we're not going to get that Red Sox lineup before lock, are we?
No, I don't think so. I want to touch on Jake Junus real quick.
Yeah, how about it, man?
This dude is he is one of the strangest pitchers in the league because if he's not giving up home runs, he's actually pretty decent. Yeah. I mean, case in point, his first start of the season against the White Sox. Last year, by the way, I think his first start of the season was against the White Sox, and he gave up 5 home runs. But this year, His first start was against the White Sox. He gave up 3 runs, all of them on a 3-run shot to Jose Abreu. And that is what he does, right? He will, if he's not giving up the long ball, Jake Junus will be actually impressive. He gave up 32 home runs last year, okay? 32 home runs, 1.87 per 9 to righties, 1.37 to lefties. I always am willing to look at his opponent as a viable stack, but also look at Jake Junus as a viable pitching option. If you're facing a team that doesn't, that's like Detroit, that can just be they can go completely quiet. They can just 100% fall asleep at the wheel for consecutive weeks. We've seen, especially with this lineup, Jake Junus could carve them up.
He could.
Or Miguel Cabrera homers and Candelario homers, and you have 3 different home runs from 3 different players. So
Kristen Stewart gets you.
Yeah, right. So this is, to me, a pretty pivotal spot for this specific slate where we only have 4 games.
And Dustin Peterson is hitting 7th for the Tigers. I do not know who that is.
I was going to say, never heard of him.
That is not a baseball player to me.
Hey, Dusty.
What
movie was the guy named Dusty? Dusty.
Just Friends had a character named Dusty Dinkelman.
That was it. That's it. Nice. Good work, man. Good work.
My dude.
Ryan Reynolds?
Yep. I probably saw that movie easily 50 times.
That's a little extreme, but it was
on the movie channels while I was in college. So like if you had HBO or Stars or like whatever that package was when you got it, like it's just kind of on always. It's the same reason I've seen Stomp the Yard like 50 plus times. Anchorman. What else was just
it was him
on?
Him and Amy Smart, right? And then the Dusty was the guitar player.
It was Chris Klein. Is that the right Chris? He was Ox from American Pie.
Wait, was it?
Is it Chris Klein? Isn't Down to You, Down to Earth?
I know exactly who Chris Klein is.
Am I getting the right guy?
He was the lacrosse player. You're right. It was Dusty Dinkelman was Chris Klein.
And I'm good at this shit.
Nice work.
It's also another movie that I've seen a bajillion times. Anchorman.
Which one?
Or American Pie.
Well, that's a classic for our age, like that. Yeah, we only got like 7 minutes left, so
I'm just trying. I'm trying to get a crunch in.
We're covering everything, but I want to know where you're going specifically for hitters. I'm assuming that the Yankees, we know that they're going to be super popular as they always are, but where are your favorite spots to go? Because I think there are some good pivot spots. I just mentioned Detroit or Junus. I honestly think either of them can be in play here.
I am refreshing my crunch right now with the new A's lineup, so I don't quite yet know. I will have some Yankees because I don't have a choice, but I do just have to get to this quickly now that Matt Chapman is not in. I guess I'm not gonna get this crunch in. I don't think.
Like, you're not going to get your lineups in by 110, you're saying?
I have my placeholders in, but I don't have the update. Like, I'm going to have to hot swap, I think, Chapman. I don't know if I'll get this done in the next 6 minutes. We're about to find out.
Are you on any bats from the Mets Washington game?
I am. I'm going to have probably double the field on the Mets today.
Okay. I would have had
a ton of... That is obviously just from a leverage perspective.
Sure. I would have had a ton of Trey Turner here for obvious reasons. Him not being in the lineup doesn't help, but
no.
I mean, really, against Syndergaard, you get on base any way you need to. He's going to steal second. He's going to steal first. He's going to steal second, and then he's going to steal third.
Can't steal first.
You can't steal first. You're damn right.
If you could, Billy Hamilton would be a legend.
He sure would. So would Terrence Gore.
Yes, he would. Former Brave for a hot minute.
What about Baltimore bats against Paxton?
That one I don't need to do. I'll
All right.
have I'm gonna have stacks of every single team.
All right.
That's just how it works on a 4-gamer. There's no need to fade everything.
Detroit, Kansas City, cold temperatures, as we pointed out. We're looking at 41 degrees at first pitch. The pitching here is actually kind of enticing to me.
I'm not gonna have a ton, just because it's FanDuel. So
Yeah, I should say DraftKings. I'm talking about where you have to play 2 pitchers, not.
I would have quite a bit of these guys on DraftKings if I were there. It's such a different structure to the slate today. It's really hard to compare the two.
Yep. And then lastly, since we're going through all of these here,
The Red Sox are going to ruin this early slate, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Somebody's going to sit.
Well, we know Bogarts. Xander Bogarts. He's
in my lineups.
He's expected to be back. He didn't start yesterday. How heavy are you on the Red Sox?
Heavy.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I was previously. I'm exporting now, so might actually work, barring any really major disasters when I click refresh here. But they were my second most exposed team on my last update.
Okay.
And I'm about to find out where everybody else stands. Alrighty, so no, I don't have as much Red Sox now as I did before. They are third from the bottom, actually.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of that has to do with them being kind of chalky. So I'm underweight on the Yankees and Red Sox. I'm over on the Nats right now.
Wow. By the way, I did not know that Junus had 30% projected ownership on DraftKings. That is way higher than I had initially suspected. But I guess they're all up there, right? Like Turnbull's at 23, Erod's at 25.
Yeah, you're gonna get there this time of the day, you know?
Dude, I tell you what, at this rate, what do we have? 3 minutes till lock. At this rate, when I look at this and I see Brett Anderson is 2% projected ownership. Just hear me out for a second.
I think that's 2% too high.
Yeah, maybe, but that Red Sox total is really low.
It really is.
It's funny because he's 2% while everyone is 15% or higher, including Alex Cobb.
Look, on DraftKings, it's a completely different story.
Well, hold on. When I'm talking about these guys, I'm only talking about DraftKings.
Yeah, I know. It's just it's hard for me to recalibrate my brain at the start of the season right now. So when I hear it, it's just like, nah, screw that guy. In baseball, on DraftKings, the entire player pool is available every single day, barring weird prices.
If I'm going to pay all the way down at pitcher, I would probably just go to Brett Anderson. And the reason I say it is it's not like Alex Cobb is good.
No.
Right? Like Alex Cobb is not good, but he's garnering a lot of ownership. Yeah, the Yankees have some injuries, but we discussed it. They still have plenty of power in this lineup. I mean, a ton. Brett Anderson gets a better park. Brett Anderson is an extreme ground baller that can generally keep balls in the yard. Look, this is not a glowing endorsement for him. I'm just saying he's never been a big home run guy. Is it like, to me, I find it weird that Cobb would be at 15% and then you'd have Turnbull at 23% and Anderson at 2%. I don't think there's a big enough talent gap there to see it that different. That's what I'm saying.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, look, I have Brett Anderson. Well, here's the problem. Brett Anderson's expensive.
Yeah, you know what? That would be the one thing. And obviously it's a pretty big thing. But here's what I mean. Between Anderson and Cobb, all right, whatever. But Anderson and Turnbull, there's not really a big difference there.
At in price, no. So here's the weird part for me. I have Anderson and Cobb projected with essentially the same fantasy projection. Basically 10 DK points.
Who? I'm sorry.
Anderson and Cobb.
Okay, yeah.
So the price difference there is stupidly massive for two guys that I call similar. I actually have Turnbull 4 full points ahead of both of those dudes.
Okay. Let me tell you where I have him.
We locked.
Yep. We locked.
You know what we need to do right now? Give me your thoughts on Anderson, Cobb, Turnbull here, but we have to pick home runs.
Let's do it.
I don't cut you off. Keep going.
I have Anderson like 1 fantasy point above Cobb, and then I have Turnbull a lot higher than both of them. But I mean, I pointed that out early in the show. So did you. Turnbull, I do think, given the weather, given the conditions there, the 3.7, 3.8 run total, like Turnbull would be my guy, the cheapest guy. I obviously think if you're paying down in cash or you're not trying to go crazy, it would have been Turnbull. But I just found it weird that on a 4-game slate, you have a guy facing the Yankees that's 15% projected ownership. I get it, 4,700, but that Anderson is 2%. It's not crazy to think, especially with the way the season's gone so far, Josh, that Anderson goes, 5 scoreless with 5 strikeouts or something. That's all.
Yeah, that it would. Nothing shocks me in baseball. It's so difficult to talk about.
Bad pitchers can have really good starts.
They can. I am ready to make my my home run pick.
Go ahead.
And there's nothing sexy about taking Aaron Judge. There's nothing sexy about taking Gary Sanchez. But I am going to channel my inner Nelly Furtado. Because I am like a bird. I'm like a Greg Bird.
Oh, this is really happening.
Give me Greg Bird. He is 5th in my home run model for today. I'm going Greg Bird.
You're going GB, huh?
Yeah, flap those wings.
Flap them. All right. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that.
Or hear it, I'm sure.
Or hear it.
I don't blame you.
I'm going to go with... Oh, hey, by the way, did you see that Rosenthal has an infinity ERA?
No.
Reliever.
First I was thinking Ken Rosenthal.
Trevor.
And then, one of those is a baseball writer, not even a player. And then 2, I thought you were talking about a car, like an Infinity, and then you said ERA instead of like RSX or something. No. And I was just like, why are we talking about someone having a car that no. These are not conversations you and I normally have.
Exactly. Go to Baseball Reference, go to the NBA app, MLB app. Trevor Rosenthal has made 3 appearances.
Okay, that's even more important then.
He has yet to record an out. His ERA is still infinity. It's incredible.
Ooh.
But
that's probably not good, right?
I mean, it's not great for keeping your job.
Inf. 0 innings pitched.
Is that amazing or what? But look how many runs he's allowed. I think he's allowed like 7 runs or more.
Everyone scored. He's faced 7 batters. They've all crossed the plate.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. All right. We're having fun here. I'll go off the board. Give me Goat O'Hearn.
Ryan O'Hearn coming in at 19th in the model.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's going to be coming in real low on it, but I'm going off.
No, I mean, that's, 19 out of 70. A solid play.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He's a good player, I think. I like O'Hearn, and I expect to see good stuff going forward.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Greg Bird, but I commend you for your pick.
Well, his first name is Goat. Goat O'Hearn. That really just rolls off the tongue. Say it.
Goat O'Hearn. Goat O'Hearn.
Nice, isn't it?
It does.
Goat O'Hearn.
I have more of him than I would have expected today, but it's mostly due to his low ownership on FanDuel.
Yeah. I mean,
he's got a real dumb price. So
on DraftKings, he's been stuck below 4K as well.
Here's one for you. So he is $700 more expensive on FanDuel than he is on DK. On DraftKings, we have O'Hearn at $3,700, first base eligibility. Luke Duda 3,900 first base eligibility. On FanDuel, O'Hearn is 4,400.
That's crazy.
Luke Duda is 2,300.
That's crazy.
So
Dude,
it's a little bit harder to get to O'Hearn with the same eligibility when Luke Duda is $2,100 cheaper than he is.
It's not even a question. It's really it was like yesterday, Justin Turner and David Freese on FanDuel with Freese batting third. To me, it was really simple just to go to Freese at 2,200 over $4,400 Turner.
Yeah. Like sometimes it's just that easy.
But O'Hearn, he's been stuck in that 37, 38 range on DraftKings. I'll keep playing him against righties, batting middle of the order, no problem. Yep. Even with the cold weather.
Yeah, no reason to not try to target Spencer Turnbull. Yeah, the only real negative here is the weather.
Yep, that's it.
I ended up most under the field on Yankees and Red Sox, most over the field on the Nats. And today's probably the day, this is the morning that chalk goes crazy and I take a beating.
Yeah, it would only make sense, right? After the Nats light up Aaron Nola yesterday.
Yeah.
And we've seen, Corey Kluber's was disastrous. That was yesterday, right? I'm starting to mix them all up.
Yeah, Chris Sale's stuff not looking all that great either.
No. Hey, how about my boy Carlos Rodon, though?
Not too shabby.
Dude,
I want that guy to be good just because.
He looks filthy, man. He got a lot of swinging strikes.
It's weird. I don't ever care about geography at all, but for some reason I root for Rodon because he played baseball in college in North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah, he went to NC State.
It works for me, man. I've always liked this stuff.
I'm thinking about somebody else. Now you have me thinking that I'm misremembering something.
I would
positive he went to NC State.
I have zero idea where baseball.
Yeah, he's from Holly Springs. Yeah, he went to NC State.
If you asked me where baseball players went to college, I would have zero idea.
I only know because of he's literally born and raised in Carolina.
Yeah, but he had yesterday a 15.5% swinging strike rate. That's sexy. Real sexy.
Turnbull 2Ks out of the gate.
There it is. Big Spence.
I hope he keeps getting them. I played him on FanDuel.
Big Spence. The Goto Hearn will homer, but outside of that, I think Turnbull will cruise.
Turnbull is the cheapest FanDuel pitcher today.
What's his ownership?
Higher than it should have been just because of me. I probably have a sizable portion of whatever it was supposed to be. I mean, we were projecting 3%, so it might take me a minute to even find him.
Man,
actually, no, it won't. I can just go to my lineups. Nope, Syndergaard got 2Ks as well. I just have to find a lineup that isn't Syndergaard, but also has that many points. Is this it? Turnbull was 9% on FanDuel, so somewhere in that neighborhood.
Wow,
that's more than I was expecting.
Man, if he comes out and he just walked a guy on 4 pitches.
Fantastic. That's what I get. Yeah.
Yeah, you mushed that was an insta mush.
Yeah. Ice It in YouTube chat was like, and a 4-pitch walk.
Yep. Yeah, people like you, man.
Yeah, my bad.
To Alex Gordon, nonetheless. Anyway.
Now that was my dude. Do you know where he went to college?
Of course I know where he went to. Everyone knows where he went to college.
Quit looking it up.
I'm not looking it up. He went to Mississippi State University, of course.
No, Nebraska.
Oh, well, I was close.
Yeah. There aren't a lot of guys that I can do that for, just FYI.
What's that?
There aren't a lot of guys that I can do that for, just FYI. Just happens to be 2 of the ones that I know. We'd have to get Ben on here for this if we wanted to get told where college is. Where did
Wei Yin Chen go to college?
I don't. Did he?
I can't. Well, probably, but not in America.
Yeah. I would imagine he didn't go to college at all if he was in a different country.
What are you saying, that he comes from an undeveloped land where they don't have further education, higher education? Is that what you're saying?
No, I assume that he is smarter than both of us. I assume that if he is good enough to get to the majors from a different country, he's probably not spending a lot of time on books.
Of course, I'm just joking around.
Yeah,
Oh wow, he went to Yale.
that makes perfect sense to me. Did he really go to Yale?
No.
Oh, I
Uh,
don't even know if Yale has a baseball team.
did he? Let's see here. Wei Yin Chen. He's from Taiwan.
Yeah, I mean, I
Oddly,
didn't think he was from Scottsdale.
oddly, oddly enough, Baseball Reference doesn't have his university.
That's because there isn't one.
You never know. Well,
Yeah, there aren't many that I know the actual college, but there was a stretch of like 4 or 5 years where I just know a bunch of dudes.
by the way, Turnbull just gave up an RBI double to Soler, so nice work. I blame
Look, I
this
didn't
on
do it.
you.
I was just reading YouTube
I
chat.
blame this on you.
I mean, I am a little bummed because I tried to take a half a victory lap after 2 strikeouts. Stupid asshole I am. Well, I have Soler, so at least that's helpful.
Just hope Godo Hearn doesn't take him deep here. And
Is Gordon the one that scored? He's the one that walked, right?
yeah.
Cool. I'm double the field, I think.
Now it was a fielding error by Castellanos, so I wonder once this is. Let's see when the inning's over. I'm assuming he doubled with Gordon on first.
Unearned run.
All right, there you go. Yep. Is it being recorded as an unearned run?
Per whoever's running our YouTube chat right now. I assume Brett. Could be anybody at this point. Could be EMAC. Could be Spags. You never know. It would be really funny. You're really throwing me off the scent there, asking the question but giving me the answer at the same time.
Right.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go eat some food. I have not eaten yet today.
Are we still live?
Oh yeah.
I thought so. Okay, you confused me for a second there. Yeah, I got to eat.
I ate quesadillas for lunch and dinner last night.
That's not a bad idea. I did Chinese food for lunch and dinner the other day, and I just destroyed it.
It was damn good too.
Just
Traditional chicken cheese for the
beef quesadilla, chicken quesadilla.
So lunch was chicken quesadilla, a nice aged cheddar, your typical like taco flavor. Last night was chicken and mushrooms cooked down into a Thai chili sauce with some sweet onion cheddar cheese.
Oh, that sounds good.
They were bomb, dude.
That sounds very good.
Real good.
You know what else is a great addition to quesadillas? I mean, some people don't like it. Pineapple. Get some pineapple in there with the chicken. Not for you, huh? I love pineapple on anything. Pineapple on pizza, pineapple in quesadillas. You name it, dude. Delicious.
You know, I thought we were developing like a pretty solid work friendship here, and I feel like I don't even know you now.
So you don't like pineapple?
So no, that's not the thing. I love pineapple. It just doesn't belong on any of those foods.
Wait, you can't appreciate that nice sweet taste along with the meat?
No, I'm like a normal person. I think it doesn't belong on pizza and all of those other things that you're naming.
Wow.
Well, now, if you grill me up slices of pineapple, just oh god, there's very little better. But if you're gonna put it on some pizza, we should never speak.
Man, that's disappointing to hear. You cook it along with the onions and with the peppers and everything. Oh, it's great. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Ex-Cossack and I don't agree on things very often, but he said pineapple on nothing, and I completely agree with him.
Yeah, well.
Unless it's on an upside down cake, I don't want it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You go eat your upside down shit and I'll continue putting I'll go continue putting pineapples on delicious food.
I honestly felt like you were kidding when you started this story.
Pineapple?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny too because certain people what I find funny is the food purists out there. I'm not saying you are one, but like, you know, if you like something on this, oh my God, it's an atrocity. How could you?
Do you put ketchup on hot dogs too?
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, ketchup, mustard, relish, you name it. Yeah, why not?
No ketchup.
Dude, if I go to say Ruth Chris Steakhouse, I get some old Heinz, just pop it on the steak, just smother it.
You're our president?
I'm joking. Of course, I don't put ketchup on steak.
That might be the only thing that I
Now,
know.
when it comes to being a purist, that one I understand.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm going to like vacuum seal some quesadillas with some pineapple and send them on your way. You'll eat them.
I'll just probably leave the package, sit on my. Oh damn! The chair dropped.
Yeah, that would have been good.
I'll leave those sit on the porch and let ants eat through the box.
That's good. Hey, I gotta drive and I gotta be somewhere in about 35 minutes. But the
Good show,
bull,
man.
the old bull just struck out the side despite allowing a run, and it is coming in as unearned.
Perfect.
Not bad, other than 26 pitches in the first. The
Live
bull,
before lock is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Any package you choose, including Fantasy Cruncher. Deep Dive will be back from 5 to 6. Sticker TBD, maybe. We'll talk about it later. Best of luck, everybody. Bye.